and welcome back to viewers from a beautiful song. Let's go back to the place where we began. It's called Escape. It's really a beautiful song. It's a nice, refreshing song for a morning.
If they want to Google
it. By Megan Nicole. That was really a beautiful song. But now we have a very special guest today for the World Sight Day. It's an annual day of awareness held on the second Tuesday of October. It's on to focus attention on blindness and vision impairment. We have a very special guest today. Her name is Professor Salwa. Hazza, the chairman of ophthalmology at King Faisal Specialist Hospital. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much for having me, especially on this very important week, we will say, not day, because it was on Thursday, to bring actually awareness to the people here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's a special because we got today World Sight Day, as Professor Hazza said, and it's an annual day of awareness held on the second Thursday of October to focus global attention on blindness, of course, and vision impairment. So that was last Thursday, 12 October, and you know what, this is your baby, and thank you so much for being here today to aware and to educate us. So please, can you tell us about this day if you don't mind?
Right, this day is usually the second, as we mentioned, the second Thursday of every year in October. It's the International Agency for Prevention of Blindness, which we refer to as IAPB. What they try to do is bring awareness. We have to understand that blindness, there's a difference between being blind and being visually impaired. Oh. Being blind is being totally blind, where a person actually has to use a stick. Whereas a visually impaired, there's a lot of people that are visually impaired. It can be for many causes. The reason for this day is mainly, as the World Sight Day, what we're trying to do is alert organizations, the governments, agencies, institutions, even individuals, to be able to recognize this day. In fact, the theme for this year is called Your Vision Counts.
Of course.
Vision count, that's what the theme is.
It's a bless.
And they also did an additional thing which I thought was really, really very interesting and different from previous year, is they involved the photographers. So all the amateur photographers and the professional photographers, they told them, go out and get the best pictures of people that are blind or visually impaired, because we know that a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So they've gotten that, they've put a contest for them, so these photographers are now all around the world trying to get good pictures. Blindness and visual impairment is a global issue. What really strikes me as an ophthalmologist trying to help and cure is 80%. We're talking about 80%. The newspapers indicated 60%. I think it was a typo.
Yes.
But 80% of people who are blind can actually be avoided. That is a big number.
From the first time, if they're aware and
knows
what's going on.
And if they are aware, if there's enough agency, people are aware. If you look at the number of blindness globally, we're talking about 253 million people who are visually impaired.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, 90% of these people are in the developing countries, meaning they are aware, but there is no income. There is no money to be able to treat them. So again, it's not just about awareness, people can be aware, but it's also about other agencies coming into play. And this is what the World Sight Day is about. I'm not going to be here talking about different diseases. We've done that.
Professor Salwa, million, it's very serious.
Very serious. And if you have to remember, of these 253 million that are visually impaired, we're not even talking about blind, unfortunately, 50% are over the age, 60% are over the age of 50.
Critical age it is.
Right, and you have to remember, and those people that are over 50 only comprise 20% of the population. So we really have to be aware. We have to encourage institutes, agencies. We have to, the government, we are voicing the government. Because if you look at the emergency in the medical field, it's three things. It's save a life, save a limb, and save a sight.
So limb and sight and life.
So
sight is one of them.
it's really important,
Yeah.
and it can cause an economic burden, because if a person is blind and is not treated, this will be an economic burden, and this will actually hamper,
It's a shame.
it will hamper the economy of any country. So we go back again. Now, we did some studies here in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
This was done by the Committee for Prevention of Blindness in Saudi Arabia, that is run by His Royal Highness Abdulaziz bin Ahmed, who is our, if you will, our icon when it comes to prevention of blindness. He has put a lot of effort through his, what they call it, lama. I love it. That's what lama, and it means shine.
Lama.
Right, from that lama, from that point. It's
Yes.
just the first words of in Arabic. It's a, you know, an acronym. So again, I come back and I say, the World Sight Day is a very important day. Everyone should be involved. It thrilled me. Now at the King Faisal Specialist Hospital, and we are one of 100 events that happened in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We were very fortunate that we actually, as of this morning, I got the statistics. We examined 600 people. We opened our doors to anyone was allowed to come in. With those 600 people, now we cannot open files for them, but what we had is, and by the way, what I am saying, everybody else did it. The King Khalid Eye Specialist Hospital did it. The Saudi Ophthalmological Society did it. The King Saud University did it. I'm talking about the Security Forces Hospital, the military hospital. I don't want to, the National Guard. Everyone was involved in this World Sight Day. But I will talk about what we did at the King Faisal Specialist Hospital, because I was physically there, but it applies to everybody. So everybody that walked in registered. We gave them a little, if you will,
like
educating them about what sight is. Then we took them to the diabetic booth, where everyone had their diabetes checked.
Excellent.
Then we took them again to the nutritional to see if they were overweight, to try to help them. So we didn't go focus on the eye alone. It's your body.
The
eye is part of your body.
Yeah.
So we started with this. We also took their blood pressure. And then after that, we started the ophthalmology, just to show people it isn't just ophthalmology, it is your body in relation to the eye.
You took it precisely from A to Z, from the blood to the diabetes to the pressure, and then to the eyes.
Then we went into the eyes. We had a nice booth for children, because if mothers came in and they had their children, we took their children and we set them so that they can take their time in going and
not
investigating.
Distracted,
right.
To concentrate on that.
And then we talked to them about the contact lens, the importance of how the right way of wearing, because there were many teenagers, especially girls. So we showed them the right way of wearing the contact lens. We then talked about diabetes in the eye. We talked about cataract. We talked about glaucoma, the difference between them that I've talked to before in the last,
episode,
we don't want to have to repeat it. Then the most important part came, was the actual technical. And by the way, this was done by all other hospitals. They had them in the Panorama. They had it in Ghornata. We had it in our hospital, because our hospital was big enough.
Also in the malls?
In the malls. This was, by the way, universal. So I'm talking about me, but it happened by King Khalid Eye Specialist Hospital, which I consider is our most important hospital here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, if not in the Middle East. We call it our father. The society, the Saudi Ophthalmological Society, with the Prevention of Blindness, did it also in another mall, the Panorama Mall, Ghornata. But I'll come to what we did at the King Faisal. Then these patients walked in. Each of them got their pressure checked.
And how it was?
It was done within 30 seconds, because it's a screening procedure. So they would come in, they would get their pressure checked. They finished from their pressure. We then took them to the camera. Excellent. Where they had photography of their fundus. We did the photography mainly for patients that are diabetic or above 40 years old. Then we did what we call an OCT. What it is, the same way you have an MRI or you have a CT scan of your brain.
The same idea.
This is the same thing. You have slices of your eye.
Excellent.
We gave them hard copies where they hold on to their photographs and to that. Then we had another table where we had consultants, our consultants. We closed our clinics where our consultants sat down. They brought these papers. They actually interpreted. Now, if anyone had high intraocular pressure, or someone had diabetes, we look at it from the fundus, or had abnormality in the OCT, we then instruct them to go visit their primary ophthalmologist. We cannot see them because we have certain, but this was triaging them. So can you imagine, of these 600 people, I just got the statistics this morning because we were actually computing the statistics, 40% were affected.
40%.
40%. So we told them.
Oh my God, this is not, this
and
is
this
high.
is random.
Easy, yeah.
This is high.
It's like that all over the world. Out of the 5 people that are visually impaired in the world, out of the 5 people that are visually impaired,
least
4 can be treated or prevented.
That's kind of positive.
Very positive. That's why when these people came to us, another important thing about the World Sight Day is not just for us to get the agencies or to get the governments or to get the hospitals or to get the, it's also to educate the community.
Awareness as well.
To be honest, the Saudi mentality, if you will, they will only come if they have a problem.
We all like that,
true.
unfortunately.
I have
yes.
yet to get a patient who comes to my clinic and says, I'm here for a routine exam.
It's never happened.
And when someone
rarely.
says that, I
It's
start
never
to clap.
happened.
I start to clap. It's once in a moon.
Yes.
So again, the World Sight Day, what we try to do is also educate people. If you are over 40 years old, get your intraocular, ocular meaning eye pressure checked.
Really?
It is
Yes.
critical
It is.
because there is no symptoms for increase in the intraocular pressure. If you are over 40, get your eye checked. It does not have to be by a, a specialist.
Oh no, save them
It
to
can
be
just
sorry,
be
yes.
by anyone who can,
Optometrists there.
anyone as a triage. What we did is we triaged them. It was our technicians who did that.
Professor Salwa, just for curiosity, there is something you mentioned in the beginning, but we didn't have a chance to talk about it more. About something like a photographer taking picture of blind people.
Yes,
What's going on?
What they did is they wanted to encourage the amateur photographers.
What is it from the beginning? What is it? It's like competition or something?
It's a competition. What they did, when you see someone blind, you hear about someone blind, but when someone comes to take a photo, and they're gonna, by the way, within the next 1 month, they're putting up these photos to see who is the best. When you see someone who is blind, and you are an institute,
So
you're an agency.
The main subject is blind people in this competition.
Thank you. They want to take photos, as I mentioned. A photo is worth 1,000 words.
It is.
I can tell you someone is blind, but if you see a photo of a child who cannot navigate, who cannot mobilize, that's going to touch your heart.
It is.
You as an agency, you as an institute, you as a government, or you and an individual who has money that wants to do something with it,
You donate.
you are going to donate. The more funds we have, the more we can do. In all honesty, what we had done, this particular event was sponsored by a company who I have to give credit to.
It
I
is.
do have to give credit. It was Al-Qusaybi company who donated 15,000 Saudi riyals so that we can do this project.
And that competition happened here in the country?
Yes, it's not for us. This is
The whole
worldwide.
world.
Worldwide.
Global thing.
Global. It's global. This is even better. It's actually global.
It is.
For us. We actually went on Twitter.
Yes.
For the first time, they did a live stream in English. I insisted that it be also not only be done in Arabic.
It's better for everybody.
I told them we have a lot of expatriates here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, so why should they not? So for the first time, the King Faisal Specialist Hospital Twitter did it as an English live stream, and that was really very particular. For me, the Arabic is important, but the English is just as important. We have a lot of expatriates that should know about
English
this
is
World Sight
universe.
Day. Of
English
course.
is universe, yeah.
And it's really very important.
So it's really nice actually that now that they have it in English and they have it in Arabic, it's really nice. It has to help everyone, not just the Saudi community, everyone who's in this
Thank
country. But as well as I have to ask a very important question. What is the major treatment of any injuries inside the eye? Like any injuries that happens to the eye, what is the major treatment?
You mean injury as trauma, as someone being in an accident?
Yes,
Is
anything.
this what you
Sometimes some people like I get it sometimes. When I wake up in the morning, I have like an eye like redness.
Okay, so you're talking about diseases.
Yeah.
That's a disease.
And something we're not aware about, and it's
Yeah,
not
something not
happening with the
aware.
age. I think in
What
any
do
age.
you like?
Again, since we're talking about the World Sight Day, and we are
Yes.
talking more about prevention, in all honesty, this is what I would recommend.
Go ahead.
Regarding trauma or injury. We, during Ramadan, we go and we donate money to
Usually.
these young,
Yeah.
to these people, you know, that are sweeping. Or, this is what I always say. Why not make a difference? These people and laborers that are working, why not give them goggles? Just simple goggles. These goggles can prevent many, many injuries. If someone is in a car accident happened, God forbid, the person wearing glasses, medical glasses,
Yes, yeah.
is actually protected
His eyes.
than the person that is not wearing glasses.
True.
Just to let you know. And this is really something really important. So I come around and I say, try when you see these laborers, all it costs is a couple of riyals for these goggles. And I've done it, by the way, or my daughter has done it, where we go and we buy a box of goggles. When we go out in the street,
Okay.
we see these laborers working, not only in the sun, but their eyes are exposed, and they have certain things. We give them these goggles.
If you don't mind, Professor Salwa, what kind of goggle you're talking about? Like a regular?
Just regular protective goggles. We're just
Protective.
talking about
It has to be a
protective.
sun.
No.
Or
It has nothing to do with sunscreen. We're talking about protective goggles just to prevent any dust, prevent anything coming in. And then you mentioned again.
Okay.
It's really very important for prevention. You said, always, you know, we are in a hot climate country. Many a times the reason for the redness when you wake up, unfortunately, is due to dryness.
Yes.
You can pick it up from the pharmacy, what we call the lubrication. They're just eye drops. They're just eye
lubricants,
we
yes.
use it
You
every
take
day,
them,
yeah.
put them in. It has no side effects, especially the preservative-free. This is also another way to prevent any eye diseases. It's a start. Another important thing is mothers. If you see anything wrong with your children,
Yes.
as a prevention, if you see them coming very close to the TV, if you see their head not in the straight position, but they tend that, if you see any abnormality in their eyes,
Like they
their
do
eyes
like
not
this.
looking straight, but you
Usually.
see, please do not wait. It is very important to treat these children.
We need you to tell us more about donating the goggle because this is new for us.
It's really important.
Please tell us, what did you do?
From that point, this one. So coming back to the children, it's really very important before the age of 2 years to get them treated. Now going back, as I mentioned, these protective goggles are really cheap.
It was your
We have
idea from the beginning.
Well, I won't say it's my idea. It's just something common sense. But we tend to donate money. We tend to donate water to these people, the laborers that are working. Whereas at the same time, we can also donate goggles. It's
for the
something
health,
simple, and you have to educate them about them. Then we come back again. Anyone above the age of 50, now we're saying 40, should have an annual checkup. Annual checkup. Do not wait until something happens. If you tell your parents, encourage your neighbors, encourage your relatives, anyone 40 and above should have an annual checkup. This is what the World Sight Day is about. The World Sight Day is mainly, yes, to try to get funds from agencies, institutions, but it is also to educate the public about the importance of eyesight. Prevention is better than treatment. Again, I will come back and say 4 out of 5 people that are visually impaired can be not only treated, but
Great.
can also be prevented.
And save than to be sorry by preventing your eyes. Well, as she mentioned, Professor Salwa, yes, we need to be alerted. You alert us today. We are one of the organizations should be alerted by you, and she was great enough to tell you what to do and what not to do and how to prevent your eyes.
Yes,
We're
true.
luckily we have here in the studio today Professor Salwa Hazza, chairman of ophthalmology.
Ophthalmology.
Okay, thank you so much at King Faisal Specialist Hospital and Research Center. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for your timing. And I'm sure you are very busy and you got a lot in your hands.
Thank
but
you for giving me the chance
you
to
give
at
us
least
a chance
try
to be aware.
to explain to the
Yes.
community the importance of prevention for
Yes.
the eyesight. And this is what the Eyesight Day is. It's to bring awareness to the local community and the global community of taking care of your eyes and preventing blindness.
And the easiest thing, if you cannot donate money, donate goggles. Okay, this is kind of sadaqah as well, and a good
Yes,
deed.
it
Thank you
is.
so much. Till we catch you, inshallah, again in the future with another really good awarening topic, inshallah. Thank you so much, Professor
you.
Salwa.
Thank you.
And now we're gonna go for a report from UAE by Gyrex. Let's see what's going on in this report, and I show you're gonna like it, inshallah.